Like, before we go any further, us two being white, is it hard for you to understand that there are still white supremacists? Like, isn't that like bizarre?
I was just thinking about this the other day.
I got it. Go ahead. Oh.
And it's strange to me. Like I was listening to Two Bears One Cave, and they're taking the "Are you racist?" test. And I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, where's that test at? I want to see.
It was between that or the black questions. I went with the black questions.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been saving that one for like 3 weeks, so I was like, you know what I mean? But, and I don't know if you noticed this, but on their episodes, they're a lot like us. I was like, God damn, he's fucking Bert Kreischer all the time. But like,
fuck you.
I was like, it's
Tom.
It's like a half hour of them going back and forth.
Wait, do you know the podcast he's talking about?
No.
You know who Tom Segura is?
And Bert Kreischer.
No.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this too. I was mowing the grass yesterday. I was like, to you and I, they're like famous people. But I can't tell you how many people are like, hey, you know? And they're like, what? No, I don't know who Tom Segura is. I'm like, everybody knows who Tom Segura is. I'm like,
first of all, what's even worse is because I'm black, but I've been listening to all types of comedy. And I mean, I used to sit there and watch Comedy Central all day long, the HBO specials all day long. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but he said something kind of funny. I would watch it that wasn't funny. But I'm saying that because to my family, like I put them on to a lot of different people. And they're like, who is this person? I'm like, oh, no, this is such and such. Like my cousin, to this day, he won't give me fucking respect. But I put him on a Dave Chappelle. Because before Dave Chappelle was like the man, he was known in like more of the like mainstream, honestly, white clubs than he was in the black clubs.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't until Killing Them Softly where he had a big, but he's had like, I think 1 or 2 specials before that. And I saw those.
Even when he acted in movies, he pretty much kind of acted white.
But he was in, was it Men in Tights? He was in Men in Tights. And then like, a lot of people didn't understand Half Baked. Me and my cousin saw that, but we had also already saw Killing Them Softly. But me and my cousin saw Half Baked, and we loved it because we were stupid. We weren't even smoking. We just thought it was funny and stupid as shit. But yeah, he was in a bunch of movies that, like, a lot of my black friends and family, they're like, I don't know who the fuck this is. But I'm like, oh, no, you guys got to watch this. And then when he came out the show, I remember I introduced it to my mom and my stepdad and my dad. And they were like, who the fuck is this guy? He is fucking hilarious. This is funny. Like, especially with the Clayton Bigsby one, the black white supremacist. Like, every person I know thought that was the funniest shit in the world. And I was like, yeah, he's been saying this type of shit for years now. They're like, well, we didn't know about it. But like, just like, I put my cousin on a Bill Burr. And me and him laughed.
He's blind, right? The Clayton Bigsby?
Yeah, he's the blind. Yeah, he thinks he's white.
He's at the gas station. He's like,
that dirty monkey beat my hood. And they're like, what? And they're like, you come on out here, boy. He said, that's right. Get him. Get him. They're like, the racist guys are like, what? And then you see his little homeboy or whatever come out and hurry up and take off. He's like, what? Power. The funniest shit was at the end where he was like, his marriage to his wife of 30 years is what they're now getting a divorce. And when I asked him why, he said, because she's a nigger lover. That was, listen, my mom, all the grown-ups I know laughed so fucking hard. And they were like, that is the funniest, dumbest shit I've ever heard.
It is.
And I was like, and then they just watched it from then on. Like, I had the DVDs, and my mom was like, you're leaving that here. Like, I lost my DVDs to my mom. I had to come back at the end of the summer, like, can I have my stuff back?
Can I have my shit, Mom?
Yeah. But, no, I was going to say.
It is weird, though, like, being.
It's funny to
like,
hear you guys say
when you think about it, you're like, are there really? Like, because I can't tell you, like, I know people that are definitely prejudiced, but if I would say, are they racist? I'm like, they're not racist. Even the people I'm like, they're still not racist. They're just say some fucked up shit from time to time. And usually it's for a laugh. If I hear somebody say something, it's like, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you got me. But I never actually think somebody actually thinks. Now here's where I've been thinking about this a lot too.
Yeah.
Like,
I want y'all to finish
the white privilege thing's been coming to mind. I'm like, because I always hear like white people think it's our country, and I'm like, yeah, we kind of do.
Oh, it's not a question.
I was like, because we've always been the majority, and it just
that's
like
why
how like my point.
Okay.
I saw a
Shit, I need to write this down.
delicious looking black woman the other day at Giant. I was walking out of UPS and I was like,
Delicious
she was all
looking.
curvy. And I was like, ooh. And it was funny. I was like, how did I look at her? And I didn't look at her like she was black. I looked at her as if she was foreign. You know what I mean? Like almost, and it's the most fucked up thing to say, but I'm
Say that shit,
put it
man.
out there. The same way I would look at an Asian person. You know what I mean?
Like a fine Asian woman.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you saw an Asian person, if you went to a Chinese restaurant to pick up food, you'd be like, you're not from around here. That'd be like, you came here from somewhere else. Like, I think that tide's starting to shift, but I never really came to that realization until, like, recently. I mean, I've heard it, but more I thought about it, I'm like, how do I think about anybody who's not white? And I'm like, you're just a foreigner, in a way. You know what I mean? It makes no sense, but that's the only way I could describe it as being like, quote unquote, different, or. But I never think it was like in a I'm superior way, like, and I also don't think of it as like.
I think I spelled it right.
A lesser thing or anything like that. What you thought?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the way I was raised. I don't know. I don't really, as far as like white people feeling like, we own this country, I can't personally say that's how I feel. I feel like I own what I own.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our government is what fucking controls
Right.
everything. None of us
That's
fucking
the
own
actual
shit.
truth,
This
yeah.
ain't our country. This ain't my country. I feel like I don't represent it, or it doesn't represent me in any which way these days. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the prejudices are, whether they're innocent I think there's innocent prejudices, and then there are complete brainwashed, intentional prejudice. Like, just for instance, we'll use Dillsburg. Say we were up at Giant, and we just saw like a group of black guys. Say there was 5 black guys up there, somebody may be like, oh, what are they doing
That's
around
what I
here?
mean. They'd be like, you're not from.
Right.
You're a
from
foreigner.
around.
You're not from around here.
Like, you mean like as like local city to city?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So like you would get a lot of eyes not because people racist. They're like something sticks out.
Yeah, you just
Sure.
The same
This
way
isn't-
as
this
if
isn't
I
the
went
norm.
into like certain places in Baltimore with me and 3 other white boys, people would be like staring because like you're not from here. Like, you know what I mean?
What? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
And
ahead.
it could also be like, you don't belong here. Like, you better get out of here before you get fucked up. Because I've had that said to me before. But
Which is a nice thing to say. I just want to let you know.
it's like,
As you get
thank you,
older, you
sir.
realize,
Yeah,
like, you
you're
know
like-
what? I appreciate that.
I don't know where I am and I don't belong here. Thank you very much. Actually had that said to me by a black cop in Baltimore. He's like, you need to get the fuck out of here. I'm like, yes, sir.
Like, if you ain't buying drugs,
I'm going.
skedaddle or something. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Go ahead.
But yeah, I don't really know how else to describe it. But if there's a black lady lives on our street.
Here?
Our street, right here. Saw her down in the corner.
She lives here.
Yep, she was weed whacking.
She owns a house.
I almost stopped to take a picture.
Well, you probably don't know if that's her house or not. But
I,
you just saw her. I
well,
got you.
her house is back in,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never seen anybody out there. Period.
Okay.
And she was out there weed whacking, and she was wearing like everyday clothes, So it wasn't like she was like.
It was like she was the hell.
Well, you know what I mean. Like the lawn service people you see them, they're always wearing tan for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that guy's a grass.
Oh, usually long sleeves if you're smart. Yeah.
Right, exactly. They're usually wearing all tan long sleeves and shit. So
I got something to what you guys are saying. And I got to keep this in order because you had 3 things that I wanted to hit on.
oh, okay.
One, it's hilarious that you guys say that
Say
because like the white supremacist thing. You're like it's like I've noticed this, and I think I said this to you too. But I talked to this is Steve will tell you, I got this white guy at my job. I can't say his name, but when I met him, I was like, oh, you're clearly this person. Like, you're not supposed to judge. But I was like, nah, you're like he's like he believes he's more educated or smarter than he is. Oh, okay, well, that just makes you an asshole.
How old is he?
He's pushing 50.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So, but I was like, he has these like preconceived notions. And even when he's like trying to be, I guess you could say, understanding, he's also being like, it's condescending. It's not, it's like everything he says is just like, to me, people can't understand why I laugh so much when I'm around him. They think I agree with a lot of stuff he says. I was like, no, he's just funny to me. I was like, because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And they're like, huh? I was like, yeah. I was like, he's a fucking asshole. I was like, I know he's an asshole because I'm an asshole. So I always tell people that. I was like, look, I know assholes. I come from family assholes. I was like, but for the most part, we're likable assholes. I was like, you got likable assholes. People who will say like, little smart shit, be a little condescending here and there, but you know, for the most part, that they're actually decent people. I can't say this about him because I only see him at work, so I won't say he's a bad person. But
See, I like that sense of humor though.
But see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people like the assholes. A lot of people like being assholes, like especially guys were assholes to each other. Yeah, bust balls. There you go. So he's at work and he's like, if you need a conservative stereotype, he's it. The January 6th was a thing by Antifa and the liberal left. No, the people who actually went aside. It wasn't anybody conservative. It was all liberal, Antifa,
It's
and
a bunch
whatnot.
of retards.
He doesn't even believe that. He just believes it was the fucking Antifa and people dressed up. It was actors. I forgot what we said. Something about Black History. We were talking about Black History back in February, and I was just telling him things like, "Oh yeah, well, this, that, and third, da da da." And one of the reasons I tell Steve I fuck with him is because if I tell him something, he doesn't go, "Oh, that's not true." He'll be like, "Oh, okay, I'm looking into that," but he'll actually look into it, right? So I tell people, I say that's the reason why me and him get along so well. Because if he tells me something, I'm like, I might be like, whatever. I'm looking at him like just to make sure I ain't wrong. Goddamn it! But we both do that. But it's just funny because he's like that stereotypical guy. And we're talking about white supremacy and things of that nature. And he's like, that doesn't exist. And I was like, sure. And he was like, yeah, racism, that's not even a problem anymore. Da, da, da. I was like, okay, please explain. And so, like I said, I have a bad problem laughing. So he thinks I'm always agreeing with him. But I was like, no, you're fucking wrong. You're so wrong. So he's kind of shut up around me now. I'm like, God damn it. I should have held my cards a little closer to the chest because I can't help it. But I was like, because I want to hear. I was like, I want to hear this shit. I was like, I want you to say it, but I don't want to be me. But I'm like, okay, now we can. I know your true feeling, whether it's wrong. Like maybe we can get to a middle ground. Now we can't get to a middle ground. I'm like, oh, okay, well you're just a fucked up person then. You don't want to, whatever. But I was laughing because you guys are like in your mind like a white supremacist type deal is like. Foreign, that's the word you use. It's like it seems so.
It's just different from your norm.
Yeah, it's like so far from the norm, right? Now, Black community.
That's what I'm saying when I say foreign because.
No, but that's I get what you're saying. I'm saying, but I was telling so. Oh, that's what I was telling him. I was like, I told him the same thing. I was like, you talk about racism, as in cross burning on the lawn, get out of here, nigga, blah 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 type shit like that. Like guns, lynching people. I say that's pure, like unadulterated racism. That's the concentrate shit. That's what we don't want ever again. Right. We don't want that for anybody.
The old school,
horrible stuff.
1950s, 40s.
Yeah, but so he was telling. I was like, but that's not the case. And he was like, what? I was like, well. The laws and the this, that, and the third, right? And we were just talking. I was like, well, they created laws. I was like, that law lasted way longer than somebody running out of town. If you go to a different town that's now accepting, I was like, but if the laws are still in the books, that's a problem. I say that's systemic. That's what I kept telling him. I said that's systemic. And he was like, no, I don't want to hear about that systemic. I was like, am I wrong? He's like, blah blah blah. But it's funny because it's just funny to hear you say it because I'm like, it was black people like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Like, oh, he's a white friend? Yeah, there's plenty of them. I was like, what do you guys, it's like, what are we surprised about? I was like, we're more surprised that he carried out the act. I'm not surprised how he feels or what he said. that's the thing that doesn't shock black people. We're not. It's like, yeah, we've seen this time and time again. Whether it's like, and I think I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I notice white people tend to think like racism is like an extreme event versus just an everyday maybe disliking or saying something crazy or whatever. I was like you, Karens, right? We all love when the Karens are fucking videotaped and they're saying crazy shit or whatever. I was like, yeah, but I was like, but she didn't just get that from nowhere. That didn't just happen today. She just got caught on camera, and I guarantee what she's saying here was potentially fed to her maybe 40-year-old adult child that she has now, or 30-year-old or 20-year-old. I was like, this isn't, and that's what I'm saying with black people, like, yeah, this isn't a new thing. This is just, and I think Will Smith said, like, this isn't new, it's just being caught on camera. Like, but it's funny when I'm hearing, and I get it with the terror attack, you know what I'm saying, or whatever you want to call it. I was like, I can understand why maybe him doing that and then, you know, having the crazy things that he said might be a little bit more shocking. But on this side, we're like, that makes total fucking sense. They wouldn't even doubt it. Like, that's why I was laughing when you guys said it, that it seemed so like far-fetched, or to you guys it seems far-fetched. But even like with Steve, like the biggest thing, and a lot of people say, shut up, you're just, you know, you're race baiting to certain black talking heads or things, where they go, when you hear on Fox News or you hear on these conservative, or some of the more far, like, why? What's the one with the pillow guy? Is it Newsmax?
The My Pillow guy.
Somebody has Newsmax, don't they?
He doesn't know Newsmax, as far as I know.
But I was noticing that I've been seeing more and more of like, it's kind of more crazier versions of Fox News that are out there. And it's like, but they're not big. They're not big, but they have at least like anchors and like a setup and stuff like that, right? So, and you just hear them talking, and it's like we've always said, that's a dog whistle. This is our country, real Americans, you know, America, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's like, whose country? That's all you gotta say is like, who are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then they're, oh, no, see, your race bait. Like, no, but this is, like he was saying, like, no, you guys, that's how you feel. Like, and I totally get it. If I grew up, like, we always gotta go to Africa, which always sucks. But if I grew up in a place where it's always been me, people who look like me, in charge, from the top to the bottom, basically.
Yeah,
right?
You're gonna think that no matter what.
Exactly. Like, this is our place. I get that. I was like, but here in America, it's like, yeah, we get that. It's like, but it wasn't your place. You just took over the place, and we know that. It was like, but that's the thing. So it's like,
yeah, but see,
yeah,
I don't give a fuck about that anymore. Like,
but you cannot. You cannot. See, but here's the thing.
I'm like, you know what? As I've told you before, hey, you know what? If you weren't speaking English, you'd be speaking French. You'd be speaking Spanish. You'd be speaking Mexican.
Everybody
was trying to take and fuck the Indians up.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Canada's not Canada.
Oh, no, Canada.
That's a bunch of French motherfuckers.
They try to.
We were just like, hey, French people, you know, we'll let you have that up north place. You just get the fuck out of here. And they're like,
exactly.
We.
Exactly. Oh, no, when I've heard some Canadians talk shit about me, I'm like, calm down now.
Yeah, you got plenty
calm
of
down now. I'm like,
history.
you, don't you act like you ain't get some of this. Don't you act like this ain't your problem. Don't you act like you ain't got racism up there. I was like, there's a lot of brown people up there when you got there.
I mean, you look at every country, it's all been defeated and established at some point in time or another, like, and is what it is today.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
Well, what's it? I guess European. I want to say white,
Anglo-Saxon,
whatever you want to call it. It's like, it's your turn. It's been your turn for a while, but you go through history. Everybody's had a turn to fuck everybody else up. I was like, but you guys are just the latest version, or I want to say
the last ones to do it.
The last ones to do it without. How can I put this?
Losing it again.
There you go. I was like, yeah, you just haven't lost it yet.
Yeah.
I was like, but I was about to take a drink of water. But that's what I'm saying. So when you said it, where you think like sometimes you're like, oh, you're just foreign to this area, this out of the norm type shit. It's like, but that's where the problem kind of lies. Like you said, white privilege. Like I told you, white privilege isn't that you automatic. Rich privilege is like you get the best of the best, shit like that, whatever. You know, and you can be.
Yeah, and that's why I told you before. I look at it as white privilege is just majority privilege because you're going to experience that everywhere we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
If you talk to a white guy who goes to Japan, they treat him like shit.
Oh yeah, they definitely.
You know what I mean? If you could get away with it in Russia, maybe, but they're going to hate you because you're American.
Yeah. See, then that would be just nationalism type shit. Yeah, it's like, you ain't got to worry about really racism. You just worry about you're a fucking American.
Yeah, you're a foreigner. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
It all comes back to you're a foreigner.
But that's why I kind of laugh when you guys.
I think the way the point back to the race baiting thing though, the way I look at it though is
one more you had
is with like it in my mind. In my mind, it seems like black people don't want to embrace our country. Like, I would feel like if and I hate even saying this because it's like such a shitty misrepresentation because it's stuff that you see on like TikToks and social media and, you know, most liberal news stuff. But it's like, if a lot of the people get propped up in the black community are the race baiters, you know what I mean? Race hustlers, as I like to call them. And it's like, if black people just embraced it as our country, you know what I mean? And started saying it as their country instead of like change the narrative as to, it's always been your country, blah, 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 blah. Like you just said was, and start saying, no, it's our country too sort of thing. Or like, it's our country.
Well,
it's our,
I would agree with you.
It's our country kind of thing. But I'm saying,
but they have though.
I'm just saying my personal experience and what I've seen. Because you're right. Of course, they've done it in the past. I mean,
no, I'm talking about not the way they.
Right. But I'm just saying, like in World War I, World War II, and the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, they all wanted to play a part in it. They're like, no, we want to fight too. Like, we want this to be our country, and we were like, nope.
Well, see,
you know what I mean?
See, but
until Vietnam, and they're like, "Hey, Operation Black Wave."
Well, no, fuck that. They was like Vietnam. They're like, "No, your ass got to go, or you're going to jail." So it was
right.
That one you ain't got no choice. Well, hell, a couple of them you have a choice.
But I mean, say if you watch movies of black guys in Vietnam, they're always pissed that they're there because of the draft, and they're like, "It's not my country," kind of thing. So I'm just saying, even through movies and stuff like that, you get influenced that black people don't want to play a part in it.
I thought you were about to say something.
Now, I was going to say something that's still on topic, but not exactly.
Oh, damn. Okay. I was saying, I want to jump on him real quick.
We'll go.
Can you can hold on to it?
Yeah.
All right, don't lose it. I was like, but I think I said this to you before. I was like, I agree with what you're saying. And I know plenty of people who do say, like, hold on, we built this country, we're part of this, we do that. It's just like I said, it's not necessarily that we don't want to play a part. It's just one of the things where it's like, if I turn you away from, like, if you wanted to play basketball with me or football or something like that, right? And you come to the park and initially you come, you don't have the right shoes, you don't have right whatever. I'm like, man, you can't play. You don't even have the right shit on, right? Yeah. I said, then you come back and you got the right shit on. I'm like, man, we don't even know you like that. Then you come back and you keep coming. We're like, it's like, and then sooner or later, I'm like, look, we just don't fucking like you. We don't want you here.
Sir, you have never tried to play basketball as a white guy on an all-black basketball court.
No.
Because that's exactly what happens.
Sir, I don't know if you guys know.
Like,
as a black guy playing on an all-black basketball court and you're not the most fucking talented black guy on the court, it's just as fucking intimidating, except they don't call you white boy. That's it. That's the only thing. They still making fun of you like, man, you know, get the fuck out of here.
It's like shit-talking show. I just sit there on the sideline like, this is entertaining.
Oh, yeah. Listen, if you look, there's certain levels. Everybody knows, like, oh, the good motherfuckers are here. Let them play. We're going to go to the side court, or we're going to wait, or we're going to play down here, or we're going to pretend like and if you do get in the game, you just can't fuck up. That way you can kind of slink in the back. That was all my thing, because I realized football was my sport a long time ago. I was like, oh, I don't have the finesse for this. But what I'm saying with the football analogy is like, sooner or later, you're like, fuck this, I'm going to start my own game.
Right. No, I get it.
But if I go out of my way to stop you from playing your own game, because I know, oh, shit, they got some talent over there. Oh, shit, they're actually good. We've been fucking, oh, shit. So it's like I said, damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's not necessarily we don't want to be a part of it. It's just that every
time you try, you get
every
shit
time
on.
we try. And I'm not talking about 60s and 50s. I'm talking about still recent. Now, here's the problem. All that's happened, right? all that's happened to a lot of people. And I told you, my father isn't American fucking history. He's my father, but he's dealt with some of the shit that we talk about. A lot of the shit he talks, especially as a younger man. It's like, and so the problem is, I don't have to go to grandfather. I don't have to go to grandmother. I don't have to go to great anything. I just go mom, dad, aunts, uncles, older family, friends, ask them about it. Or then, like I told you, I thought my dad was just racist. I just thought my dad was he did not like white people. Then he told me stories and things, and I was like, oh, I can see how you got there. But it's like, but he's calmed down a lot now. But he used to tell me things like, especially when I told you I went to all-white high school. Now, I came from all black and Hispanic all the way up until high school. So I'll say all the way up until last semester of 8th grade. But I'm saying it because he would tell me this shit. I'm like, damn, I got white friends. What the fuck are you talking about? We're cool. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. No, that's not true. That's not true. The problem was they did the shit. The shit that he was saying they wouldn't do, they did. I mean, correction, the shit he said they would do that I kept telling them they won't do, the shit happened. Now, I'm in Texas as a predominantly white area, so maybe that plays a different role than, like, say, if I'm in fucking New York where it's a bunch of people in one area, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But I'm in Texas. I got no say in where I live.
Right.
It's like, but what he kept saying was going to happen that I kept telling him wasn't going to happen, and I'm looking down. I looked down on him like, oh, man, you just fucking stuck in the 60s, 70s and shit. Like, man, whatever, man. Yeah. That's not how it is today. That's not how it is today. And then the shit that he was saying, I'd have a fucking teacher do, or I'd have a coach do, or that. And then I would personally go out of my way to be like, no, that wasn't what I thought it was. That was some bullshit. I'm like, nah, because I got my dad in the back of my head like, see, I told you. I'm like, nah. Then something else happened. I'm like, this person's not great. And then I was like, and again, this is not a majority of people. I'm talking about my instances, my experience. So it's like, what you're saying, like, again, like I said, I wish what he said wasn't true. But the problem is what I've seen, especially when Fox News, all that shit, they're doing the same shit. Like, you got the race baiters on this side, and then the people who are denying the race baiters, who are also race baiters in their own way because they're talking to a certain demographic of people, it's like they get boosted up too. So it's both sides are doing the fucked up shit. The only problem is there is a majority, and when you are the majority, and then when you also have a fucked up history,
that 7% is going to kick in.
I was just like, it's hard to. It's like, yeah, like I hear them, like I totally get when I hear fucking whatever. I won't even say right side, but just people like, man, we just got to come together. We just got to do it. That fucking makes. I have a 14-year-old child and I have a 5-year-old child. They're both black. It's like they're not mixed or anything. Not to say there's anything wrong with it, but I'm like, they're just both black kids. Nothing wrong with it. I love them to death. They're good kids. They don't think about that. I make sure they don't think about that. Now, my son, I teach him about history and I teach him how to move correctly in certain situations. Like, if you ask my son right now with the police, I was like, what are you going to do? I was like, you're going to ID? You're going to say, yes, sir. You're going to say, no, sir. You're going to make sure. I was like, even if they're acting crazy, I was like, just stick to this script. Like I said, I don't care if you have tears in your eyes. I was like, if they're hurting you, I said, I pray to God it never happens. I said, but stick to this script. We should be good. I said, if they take you downtown, whatever it is, just because you're friends or maybe us, like, because you're going to be around people once or twice in your life. It's going to happen. Like, you're going to think they're cool. You're going to be the wrong people. I said, you might get hemmed up with them. And I was saying, I tell them, I was saying, because you're black, they're going to give everybody the same fucking charge. They're going to try to pin all this on you. Now, if you're poorer and black, you might get with that. Either way, it's a whole long story. But I also know my son has white friends that's not a problem. That's not an issue. They don't even talk about that shit. They don't even go down there. They don't even make race jokes. Like, me and Steve make race jokes all the time. And that's kind of one of the things we've done, you know, but they don't even do that. And I look, I'm a helicopter parent. I'm an undercover helicopter parent because I'm in there like, huh? What you say? I'm listening. I'm watching. You know, I'm paying attention when he thinks we're not. My daughter, everybody is fun. Honestly, if anything, she's sexist because she just loves playing with girls. She's just like, if it's another girl in the area.
Well, you got cooties at that.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So she's just like, oh, you're a girl. Check out my goddamn Barbies. Look at this. You see this goddamn Mickey Mouse dream car? This shit is, just all the... You like pink? Goddamn it, I love pink too. You're my goddamn best friend for the moment. So, and my son, son was the same way. But like I said, it's not necessarily that we don't want it to happen. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I told you, like, we're the abused girlfriend. We've been abused so many times by the same fucking person. Now we got another person who looks like the last person saying, hey, let's all come together. And it's like, well, the first relationship, I wanted that. The second relationship, I wanted that. I still got my ass whooped, got all these bad things. So, let me finish. I got you. I was like, but as I'm saying, it's like, because I've heard what you're saying. It's like, I get it and I understand. You're saying the new, look, my kids, that's probably your kid, that's probably going to be more of what America's going to be. Like I said, you can't have all this bad for such a long time and then only have good for a small period of time and expect it to be great. Like, that's, like, you got to think about it. All the way up until 64, there was some, but no real good civil rights. And then you basically got given another 10 years for everybody to follow those fucking rules. It's like, so then from basically say 74 on, now with 74 into 2000, well, not even 2024 yet, but I'm like, come on, man. Hundreds of years of bad shit. We ain't even had 100 years of good shit. You got to give it time. I was like, but at the same time, you can't say we didn't want to be a part of, like, hold on now. We tried our damnedest. And now we're the abused girlfriend who's protective, who has the walls up, who's like, nah, fuck you. Nah, you know what? Nah, fuck you. Oh, you want to talk to me? Whatever. You got some money? That's what I'm worried about now. Fuck all that love shit. You got the money. Where's the money at? Blah, blah, blah. That's why it's like you have the most black, like, millionaires and business people and shit like that, because we learn, like, oh, business is how we're going to do it. Money is how you're going to do it. And it's like, whether it's true or not, that's been the American way. Is you get the money, you get the power.
It is true.
Then you can influence whatever. Exactly. Yeah. Money, power, respect. It's like, now I'm done with my tyrant. You can go.
I was just going to say, like, I think to flip back to, like, because you were talking about football, and it comes back to, and we've talked about this before, is like, in my mind, it's perception. And like you said earlier, it's like, I've been on the liberal side and I've been on the conservative side, and now I'm just like, you can go. Yeah, I totally was. I wish I'd known you back then, but it was like,
I've never been. So
when you watch like the CNNs, and then you watch the Fox, they're just both doing the same thing. They're trying to piss you off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's like,
get you riled up.
When I see the same thing, I see that happen in the black community with these, like, Ingram Kennedy guys being like,
who?
Is it Ingram McKenzie or Imber McKenzie?
Who is that? The CRT guy?
Yeah, he's one of the CRT guys.
You in the goddamn CRT.
My point is like, when you got people like that, and like, what was it, like Albert Bell and I can't remember the chick's name, but they're like propping this stuff up.
You're talking about all the CRT people, right?
Yeah, like race hustling basically, and then it catches on. And it's popular, and it's like,
it's not as popular as I think.
I know. I honestly, I do know it. I do know it's not, but it always feels like that trump card, because it's gonna beat whatever you have in your deck, and it's funny. I had dinner with this Mexican dude and my boss.
Don't forget what you want to say.
And he looks like a terrorist right now. And I told him, I was like, dude, you gotta shave your beard. You look like a terrorist.
Wait, who is that? He's a Mexican guy?
Yeah, but the way his terrorist is, his beard is, I was like, dude, you're gonna get pulled out of an airplane line, like at TSA.
They go random search your ass.
And when you hear him talk, he sounds white as hell. And when he shaves his beard, he just looks like a white guy that's tan. But with the beard, it just made, I was like, look, it's 7%, man. I was telling him all about racism.
Are you saying 7%?
Yeah, that's what. Remember, I always say everybody's 7% racist. Oh, because you're just always going to root for your own team. But this brings me back to Colin Kaepernick, since he was just in the fucking limelight trying out for the Raiders. But let me get to this, and then I'll let you talk, John. Take 2 minutes. My point is, like, when Kaepernick started shitting the bed in the NFL, and then all of a sudden he started, like, when he got like his first interview, his answers were so terrible. He clearly didn't know
he didn't know
what
what
he
he
was
was
talking about,
about.
and he
No.
made himself look like an asshole. And then some influential
People.
got a hold of him and took him under the wing and sort of groomed him on what to say. And then that became his narrative as to why he wasn't playing. It's like, nah, bro, you ain't playing because you suck balls. I was like, second off,
He wasn't that bad.
Nah.
He was bad enough. He was good enough to get a fucking backup job. I guarantee you that.
right, but so was Tim Tebow, and they're like, you bring
First of all, Tim
too
Tebow.
much Jesus drama. We don't want you.
Tebow shouldn't have been in the fucking league, but go ahead. That's my
I
personal
disagree.
opinion.
I mean, he
As a running back, sure.
won
As a
some
fullback,
playoff games. You know what I mean? He didn't do.
as a quarterback, no.
He was a leader, though. You know what I mean?
That part I don't know.
But to Kaepernick, then you come out with this fucking Netflix documentary calling the
still have
NFL
not
the
watched
slaves and blah blah blah, and like, oh, they're just like slaves. And he showed them doing the measurements of the combine, and then doing it like side by side with that, and like slavery and the NFL combine and how they take measurements and height and weight and blah 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 and size, and then the Raiders give you a shot. And sure enough, you just jump right back on that NFL train. Like, I know I said a lot of bad shit about y'all. But
No, that's the part
wanna
I
play
agree. I
football.
was
And I'm
like, you can't sue
bro,
your boss and then try to get a job
Yeah.
by the same boss. It's like no,
you
you already got your money.
You
You go
can't.
somewhere else. CFL, fucking,
Yeah.
what's it, the fan league
And
they got coming
that's
up?
kind of what I'm trying to say. Is like, dude, you, in my mind, you shit all over your own words by going back to the slave master
That I do agree with.
and trying to be, oh, I want to be a quarterback again. It's like,
But you ain't got to go to the NFL to be a quarterback.
right, but you see my point. And that's where I get sort of discouraged as a guy like him, where I'm like, bro, you just taking that money.
No, that's a lot of people don't see. But what you're saying right there, that I can say that's going to fuel a lot of people because it's like that's a common sense thing. What we're discussing that part is common sense. Like you can't sue your boss.
But my
For,
point is the,
millions
the
and then go
perception
back.
the news gives you and the talking heads in the media don't give the person watching it the perception that that's how everybody else common sensely thinks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well, but we've agreed on that because I'm like,
I know.
like once you got that money, like if you would have said no and stood firm on no, you guys are blackballing. I mean, they were blackballing. It's not even a question. But at the same time, it was like if you never took that money and they still didn't get you, you still didn't have a shot or whatever, then okay, you got more of a moral high ground to stand on. But you took the money, and that's it, bro. Like that's like if I right now I work at Amazon. If I sue Amazon for millions of dollars, one, I shouldn't need to work anymore, or at least not for somebody else. I can tell you that I shouldn't need to work for anybody else.
Right.
I should start my own shit. I was like, two, why would your boss like I've already seen
suing is suing is burning that
the
bridge
worst.
and cutting those ties. I mean, you have
Yeah.
to just accept that.
Yeah, exactly.
When you were thinking about the lawsuit, you have if it doesn't cross your mind that hey, these relationships are gone,
No, exactly.
like there's something wrong.
That's
with
like suing family or friends. You're like, oh, once we go to court,
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Am I going to
nothing
see you
come
at
back.
Christmas?
Huh?
Am I going to see you at
Hey,
Christmas?
like, I'm not sending you Christmas cards. Like,
Yeah.
you take me to court, I'm like, bitch, are you out
Nah,
your
yeah,
mind?
you have to be aware, that certain actions there's going to be repercussions for. I mean, it's pretty simple. So
I always see something over there. I'm sorry, Steve.
It's a turkey.
I-
I'm sorry.
I would hope you heard it, but we might have jumped all
I mean,
over it.
we're kind of like it seems like we're like phasing out of the
No.
racism part.
No, we're not.
No.
I was when we were in the heat of it talking
We're still in
about
there,
whatever
baby.
we were doing. It just seems like for me, racism initially started off as what I don't like you because of your skin color. It was hatred towards another person, and it seems like now I don't know how black people feel. I just don't know, and I don't have enough experience with just racism in general. I'm sure I have my own innocent, prejudices.
Yeah.
But it seems like now it's more not I don't like you for your skin color. Now it's almost like I don't think you like me
So I don't
for
like
my
you.
skin color. Right. It's like, and I'm sure black people feel like, that you don't like me, I don't like you. White people feel like you don't like me. All right, fine. Then
Well, so to your point is, and I've explained this to him before. That's why, and he hates this, but that's why white people are overly nice to
Right,
black
yeah.
people. When you said something about you got in a fight or something at a hockey game or football game or something, and all these something with a beer spilled, and everybody's like, "Oh, we're not all like that," and you're like, "You don't remember that story?" It was in a podcast, but basically,
I would say
There was a bunch of white people around you were super apologetic for the one guy being an asshole, and
I don't think it was me I was talking
maybe
about.
he was just telling a story. But
I think, yeah, I was like, because what you're saying reminds me of a video I saw. I'm saying where it was like everybody was actually.
we're not all like that guy. Like,
Yeah, but it's like because people literally said that. I was like,
what you hit the nail on the head
yeah.
is as a white person, you almost
That was
feel
what it is.
like racist because not racist. You feel like you're just not like so why
It
like
needs
you.
to be like reverse racist,
Right.
You know, that whole reverse racism thing. Now you have to like overcompensate and try to be like extra nice, extra understanding.
Well, because you feel
know?
like you're going into it as if they don't like you already.
Right.
racism doesn't exist.
Now I'm gonna like be a warrior and defend you, you know, to like really show that I'm not
That
racist. Even though I'm treating you differently because
of your race.
my response is different because you're black, you know. It's like no one looks at it like that, you know. You're still literally treating someone different because of their color.
I was just about to say what you're saying is true for both sides. It's when now as an older person, I'm like I'm waiting for you to be an asshole more than I'm waiting to see because you're gonna be an asshole because you're white. You know what I'm saying? Now some people I'm like, especially older white people, I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
60-40 with you. Like, listen, but it comes from my own experience. Like, I used to deliver to these nursing homes, and you had some of the sweetest, so nice white people. I mean, I had this 88-year-old girlfriend, supposedly, and because every time I came in the building, this was years ago, she would put on her nice fur coat, and she would put on these glasses, and she would doll herself up. And they were like, ooh, and the nurses were like, oh, your boyfriend's here, your boyfriend's. When I was down the hall, and me and her were sitting there, I'd be like, ooh, what's going on, baby? What we doing? You know, beautiful, innocent, funny as shit, whatever. And I've had that plenty of people. You know what I'm saying? Since we're talking about white people, plenty of white people. Not even an issue. But I've also seen the flip side of that in some of those also places. Because again, if I'm going out to, like usually when I'm going out to fucking Salisbury or like these places where there's going to be high probability it's going to be a lot of white people.
Yeah.
Because that's just what lives in the areas. Now, like if it's a lot of white people living in the suburbs, then the nursing home is going to be full of a lot of white people because it's the white people who used to live in the areas. But I've seen the opposite where like they're yelling, you know, expletives and the N-word is that. Like to this day.
See, I've never seen that.
No.
Never.
I have. Listen, I will never forget. And I tell my wife, and she laughs. She initially laughs, but she's like, "Oh, that's so wrong," because we would say caution. If you could put a little caution, the N word's about to be said multiple times. Because I went to this one place. Now, the one thing about nursing, it is filled with Caribbean black people, Filipinos, I say Asian, but nursing is like made up of like non-American whites.
Asians don't like black people.
No. I get it, but I'm saying the people who are taking care of these older white people are usually not white people. Unless you're going like, I had one out in Frostburg, and that was like these two places. One, I think it's called Denton or Old Denton or something like that. It's like 3 hours away from here, almost 4. But both were highly populated white areas. So they had the nurses. But they still would have those Caribbean and black. They would have a lot of, I guess you could say foreign. Because they're even foreign. Like they're coming from Caribbean countries. Like I'm not saying like, oh, they were black and their ancestors. No, these motherfuckers are coming from Barbados, the Bahamas, Jamaica, stuff like that. I'm saying all that because this one place I went to, which was in Hyattsville. And this white lady, she was new to the unit. And this one's not really, it's kind of, is like a little bit below average. But she's mad. She's, help. And sometimes you laugh because you're like, these people are just making noise. It's like, because they want to go home and the people put them here, whatever. So they're just yelling.
Yeah,
they're being as difficult as possible.
Right.
And so everybody's laughing. I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, we're asking her to sit down, and she doesn't want to sit down. But she's yelling help in our face as if we're not. Like, we propped up the bed. We put it perfectly for her. Stuff is all set up. They're like, and I took a look in. I'm like, She's just yelling. She's literally standing there, help, help. And it's like 3 nurses around like, ma'am, Miss such, please just sit down. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, you would think somebody's killing her the way she's yelling. So finally they get her to bed. They're like, look, and they kind of like gently, don't you touch me. Don't you touch me. God. I mean, she's doing crazy old woman shit. So she's like, I'll get in the goddamn bed, you motherfuckers. You better not fucking touch me. Help. And she's still yelling help. I'm there for fucking 10 minutes, right? Because the person I need to sign is in the room. So finally, whatever. They finally get in bed, but she's still yelling help. So the supervisor who I needed, she comes out and she's like, what's going on, baby? You know, blah, blah. Signing paperwork. And then instantly I hear, don't you touch me, you nigger bitch. And I was like, first of all, ma'am, I have never heard nigger bitch. And I've heard nigger in all different type of variations. I was like, nigger bitch was a new one. And she was like, you goddamn nigger bitches, blah, blah. And she's, mind you, now she is just dropping this one word about 50 fucking times. And again, she needs their help. She is there because she needs their help. And there is nothing but Caribbean black, African black people, especially this year, working. There's not one white person there. The only other white people are patients, but it's also really mixed. So she's like, you nigger bitch this, you nigger bitch that, and da-da-da-da. And there was one nurse in there, and she was like, man, fuck this. And she walked, she's like, I ain't going there with that racist ass bitch. Fuck her. I don't give a fuck if she falls. And I'm like, ah. And then she says it like 20, we like, it's fucked up. Because she was like, you nigger bitches get in here and clean me up. And listen, you can fucking laugh because it was funny because she was like, you nigger bitches coming. And then she was like, nigger bitches.
Just
I'm
so
like,
comfortable with it.
oh my God. And I'm like, now initially it starts off, everybody's laughing because they're shocked. They're like, what the fuck did this old ass lady say? And then the supervisor, she was like, all right, that's one too many. She goes in there, she's like, hey, shut the fuck up. And I was like, God damn, that's what I'm talking about. She's like, you shut the fuck up. She was like, what do you think? She was like, nigga, she's like, who you talking to? Huh? And I, peep my head around, like, make sure she don't beat her the fuck up. I don't want to be a witness. But she's like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? And I could, like, if we're here, the door is probably like, I want to say where that stove is. So I can hear everything. Now, because the whole hallway's quiet now. There's a bunch of people, but the whole hallway's quiet listening. Like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? She's like, dummy, don't you realize we gotta fucking take care of you? We'll let you sit here in that goddamn shit and piss and you get fucking sores. I'll put this goddamn bed down and turn that TV on. Your ass, I mean, she's just going off on her. And I was like, she's giving her like, we don't have to fucking help you and you need our help.
She's kind of asked for it though.
Oh no, she did. But the funny thing about it in the end, when she got done flipping out and all that, she was like, let me hear you say that shit one more time. I'll guarantee by the end of this fucking week you'll be out of it. Because if there's too much of a problem, you get kicked out.
Right.
Yeah. So she was like, whatever. And she was like, and then by the end, she tried to play victim. I just needed some help. Why are you so mean to me?
Always victim. I watched a video that was, I think, from the 50s.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm assuming that's probably with this woman that you're talking, this racist woman was probably a kid at that point.
She was
probably or whatever.
But she didn't have dementia. By the way, she wasn't like gone in the head. She just was mad.
But she was probably from, she was probably born 40s, 50s, whatever. She came from that generation that they were white people were just so fucked up back then. It's like, like I watched this video, obviously black and white, of I can't remember what state, what town it was, whatever it may have been, but there was a black family moving into this white neighborhood.
I think it might be talking about California. It might have been in California.
Honestly, I don't know. I'd have to like really try to look it up. But the whole part obviously the main part that caught my attention was the white people in that town literally were like mobbed out. Like they couldn't get down the street, and they had like a moving van or whatever, the black family. Like coming through the street, the police were actually trying to get people out of the way. It looked like, the protesting, the whole block was full of white people. Like the black, this black family who look like perfectly normal, fine people.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's actually, they use that same video in a documentary, and it's called, it was during that white flight. Mm-hmm. So like, it was right after like segregation ended, et cetera, but it was like the first black family moving into the neighborhood. And in the interview, the one lady's like, she looks like a regular like suburban lady from that era with like the curly perm hair, and she's like, "We just don't want N-words around here."
Oh, did she
And they were,
have like
packing
glasses
up,
on and
yeah,
shit?
Yeah, they're like
I think I know
packing
what
up
you're
the.
talking
But anyway, go ahead.
Like, well, you know, like I said, they were in their vehicle. There was a moving van following them, or whatever it may have been. Cops trying to open the street up. It was like full blown protesting type. Blocks full, sidewalks full,
Yeah.
yards full. They get out, dude. Like the amount of people, the hatred that you could see. You know, these people just yelling, you know, the N-word, get out of here. We don't want you.
What you're talking about is the 60s.
Yeah, okay. I guess it would have been then. I was just so like I know all that existed. But
to see it in action,
well, to see the unprovoked hatred out of somebody, you know, somebody
you don't even know
like
this is a bad
screaming
person.
it mad, throwing stuff. It's like, what? These people are so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
that's like if you ever seen it. Was it Ruby? I forgot her last name. Ruby. I want to say Ruby Rose, but that's completely wrong. I'm pretty sure. But she was the first. I want to say Alabama. Somewhere she was. It's a fucking like iconic pictures of just this little itty bitty 5-6-year-old black girl going to school, and the fucking National Guard have to take her in, and there are fucking adults on each side. Yelling, screaming, spitting, throwing. Come to find out, spitting and throwing shit at her. She's 5 or 6 years old.
Like how
just trying to go to
embarrassing.
and they have to live. And she was
That
like,
didn't age well.
"Yeah, oh no." But his thing, everybody's like, and this is what I tell you. It's like the problem is, I think some people forget that the lady we're talking about, she's only in her 60s. She is very much alive and healthy. Like. This isn't 100 fucking years ago. We're talking about somebody who's alive. She says they threw shit at her. She was like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, as a parent, I first of all, I don't know where her parents were. I was like, maybe she rode the bus or whatever.
That would kill you inside.
I couldn't. I know I would have to be there. Like the cops would have to beat me off.
bad choice.
Mike would be the
bad
first,
choice of
the
words,
first
but
black serial killer.
You goddamn right. Oh, listen, especially then. But yeah, bad choice. They would have to. all right.
I had to think about that one.
No, they would have to
Beat me off.
No, I was
right the
about
hell
to say
off.
hold me down. I was like,
Hold me down and beat me off.
Holy
they
shit.
they would have to arrest me. Because I'm like, I couldn't imagine. Like, you gotta fuck, man.
They'd
All
have
right.
beat me up.
You got a 6-year-old. I think she was 5 or 6. Go into class, and she was like, nobody talked to her. The teachers treated her differently. She ate alone at lunch. I was like, there's no. I wouldn't give a fuck if it was integrated. I was like, oh well, we're not doing that. We're not going to be the first. It was like because she was like, it was horrible, and I was like, no, she was fucking kindergarten. You got grown adults yelling, screaming, cussing. They legit want to hurt you. A fucking 3-foot, fucking 30, 40-pound child, and they legit want to kill you, hurt you, do all types of horrible things. And like I said, it was like, and I just found out recently, I was like, oh shit, this lady is alive. Just because the film was black and white. Like, that's not how life stayed. You know what I mean? It's like, I remember my grandmother's television. Like when I was real young, she still had a black and white television. Now, immediately soon after she was able to get it, somebody got her a color television, whatever, and she put it on top of the big ass one. But it's just one of the things that's like, that's fucking crazy. And like there's another video where these like black kids are riding on a bike and the fucking kids just swarm them. Like the kids in the neighborhood, like a bunch of white kids, and they're, get the fuck out of here. N-word, all this, going crazy. I'm like, bro, your kids couldn't go outside. Like, you literally could not have a life. And I was like, God damn that shit. I was like, I know for a fact, I don't like the look on your face, Steve.
No, I'm just thinking about like with what he said earlier about like, I think when in our minds, like everything that we're talking about right now, we don't see it anymore. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like that going.
Oh, that level?
Like, yeah, right. So it's like that's the kind of shit